Hello and welcome to everyone. Today our guest is MMA fighter Nathan Williams. Nathan, thank you so much for accepting the invitation for the interview. So, in general, how's your career doing? How are you feeling at the moment after that last win? And how's generally everything doing? So we're gonna go with question by question later. Can you please say the intro? How long you train? How's been your MMA voyage, etc.?
I've been training for 9 years now. Out of X3 Sports, I call it the best gym on this side of the Mason-Dixon line in the United States, on the southern side. I got my black belt in jiu-jitsu, of course. Just trying to piece it all together, man. Trying to be well-rounded as possible. I emulate. My idol is Demetrius Johnson, so I try Mighty Mouse. So I try to make my game, make my style as close to his as possible. I try to, be as well-rounded as possible. So I can switch both stances, or from orthodox to southpaw. I like to be able to interchange fluently. Like I said, I have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I have a wrestling background. I'm also fluent in Muay Thai. So I like to be well-rounded as my boy DJ. So that's the goal. That's what I've been trying to do. All right, hold on, Papa. Not right now. Hold on. Not right now, Papa. Man, that's what I try to do. So my bad, my kids in here. I'm watching.
No problem, man. No problem. Everything's fine. Anyway, how would you describe your fighting style? Are you an all-rounder, right?
Yeah. Well-rounded, but when all else fails, I'm a grappler at heart. Like I said, I have a wrestling background. I'm 34. I've been wrestling since I was 12. So, almost 20-some years experience in wrestling. And with the BJJ black belt on top of that, when stuff hits the fan, I'm gonna take it to the ground. Take it to the ground, and I like to call myself now backpack shawty. I mean, I usually take people's backs, and once I get their back, it's more than likely gonna be over with from there. So, that's my style. Try to be well-rounded, but grappling base heavy style for sure.
Do you have a nickname?
Yeah, Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate.
What is the background of the nickname? Like nasty for the way you fight, or?
Actually, man, my boy DeMarquez. Shout out to my boy DeMarquez Jackson. He trains down now there at Sanford MMA, 170 welterweight. It was back in the amateur fight. When I was probably my third or fourth amateur fight, and I didn't have a name at all. I was just Nate Williams, and the announcer came out and it came in the back and he was like, "Man, you got a nickname?" And my boy and Marquez would always call me Nasty Nate, just playing around because he knew I hated it. And he was like, "Yeah, Nasty Nate," and I was like, "No." And then the announcer was like, "Do you want me to roll it off the tongue like nasty?" And my boy got so hyped, like, "Yeah, say all that." And I was just like, "All right, man, you know what? Whatever, just go with it." So I kind of just accepted it and then just kind of embraced it. And over the years, it kind of just stuck with me. So now I went from hating Nasty Nate name to embracing it. So, yeah, shout out to my boy Marquez, man. DeMarquez Jackson down in Sanford MMA. Without him, I wouldn't have the name Nasty Nate. So.
Well, it's usually how it goes. Usually you hate the nickname at the beginning and then you get used to it. Then it becomes your trademark, right?
Yeah. At first I hated it, but now I love it. So it is what it is.
Do you have the favorite strike and the favorite submission?
Like I said, I'm starting this club called Backpack Club, where we just taking people's backs and choking people's necks. So rear naked choke, of course, the Monteleon. Rear naked choke is my favorite submission. Favorite strike, I like to throw the Superman punch. I can throw the Superman punch, like I said, from southpaw, orthodox. I can throw it from the jab. I can throw it from the cross. Eat fluently in both stances. So if I had a favorite strike, the Superman punch and rear naked choke, the Monteleon. Rear naked choke is my favorite submission.
How did you achieve the ability to fight even from both stances? It's pretty much rare in the MMA.
So I wrestle. The way I wrestle, it was kind of unorthodox. Usually in wrestling, in wrestling, I'm right-handed. So in wrestling, your dominant leg is your lead leg. So essentially, I've been wrestling southpaw my whole career. But so now when I trans over to fighting, your dominant leg is in the back Not right now, Sam. Not right now. Your dominant hand is in the back, so you fight orthodox. So I, learned how to strike orthodox, but I have already been competing and grappling and doing all those things as a southpaw. So it just, that made the transition easy because I was already used to standing one way. So once I learned how to stand orthodox, everything translated back over to the southpaw stance.
Do you still remember your first MMA fight, how it go?
Yeah, my first ever MMA fight, I lost my amateur debut. I lost by triangle in the first round. I came in, took the guy down, had no striking at all whatsoever. Didn't plan on striking. Came in, took the guy down. He threw up a triangle. I slammed him twice. The triangle got tighter. And he eventually submitted me in probably like a minute and 30 seconds. I always think about that fight. I actually tried to get a rematch with the guy, but he hasn't fought since. He beat me 9 years ago, and that's it. He ain't fought since. His name Aaron Katonic. I had a train fight win down in Florida. So, Aaron, if you listen to this, man, get you some fights, turn pro, and let's get it. Let me get my rematch, bro.
Who was the toughest amateur opponent for you?
I probably would say Zach Cooper, even though I'm not going to take nothing away from his win. I was dominating him 2.5 rounds of a title fight, 145 amateur title fight. Got a little tired, and he caught me in a submission, Darce choke, reversed me and caught me in a Darce choke. I kind of was tired, so I gave in to the fatigue. But like I said, I'm not gonna take away nothing from Zach because he stood in there, he took the punishment, and he was able to find a way. So Zach Cooper, the hooch, he my boy now. He's a fellow firefighter just like me now. But you was my toughest opponent, Zach. I don't know if you know as an amateur fighter. So shout out to you, man.
Do you still remember your professional debut? How did you feel heading into your professional debut? Were you calm or not heading into the fight?
So my pro debut was against a guy named Jason Everhart. He already had four professional fights. And I came in and I won first round armbar. I had a triangle locked in, but I finished him with the armbar inside the triangle. I was nervous. I mean, that was what we do it for. That was the dream, to turn pro, to become a professional fighter, professional athlete. So yeah, that I had some nerves, but I mean, it was just another day in the office. I have probably over 500 to 1,000 wrestling matches and 150, 200 jiu-jitsu competitions. And at the time, that was my 9th fight, so I had done it before. So yeah, a little nerves, but once you get into that cage, man, it's rinse and repeat, same old. So it was good times, and it's crazy to think that was 19 years ago.
So, according to your thoughts, who was the hardest MMA opponent you've ever met in your career?
So I fought a guy named Carl Deaton twice. He fights down at in Coconut Creek, ATT Coconut Creek. We fought for a promotion that's no longer in existence called A64. The first time we fought, it came to a close decision. He won by the decision. I was just coming off a 6-fight streak where I had fought 6 times in like 6 months. So I was fighting a lot, and that fight, just my body was worn down from cutting weight so much. No excuse, Carl was a better man that day. I gave it to him. My body was, worn down. He beat me in a decision, and then we fought for a rematch. I beat his teammate, and then we fought for a rematch after that for the A64 featherweight championship. And that was a 5-round fight. He beat me then too, but like I said, I had some injuries going in. I couldn't train for a month leading up to that fight because I ended up finding out that I had herniated disc in my neck. I herniated my C4, C5 with some ulnar tears in there. Needed surgery. So before the fight, I couldn't. I had to take a month off because I couldn't even move my left arm. My left arm went numb. But I mean, like I said, once again, I can sit here and make excuses or reasons on why I didn't win that fight. Carl Deaton was a better man that day. He won that fight. So Carl Deaton, because I lost to him twice by decision.
According to you, which is the best win in your career? For you, which is like the win that you remember in the middle of the night and that makes you happy? Is there such a win?
It's my win versus Lawson McClure when I beat Lawson McClure for the NFC Featherweight Championship. That fight kind of put me, I don't want to say on the map because I'm not in the UFC yet, but that fight kind of gave me some local notoriety, especially here in Georgia. I I ended up finishing the fight third round TKO, and my only knockout to this day. Most of my finishes, all my other finishes, are by submission. So that was the only knockout I have. And to get the TKO, I put on I a 30 strike combination that he didn't answer any, so 30 strikes consecutively, just 10 off, letting them go. I was feeling myself. So, and that fight kind of put me out there as let people know that I wasn't just a grappler, that I can also strike too from both sides. So that fight right there, and that's the fight people still talk about to this day. They still like, man, I remember your Lawson fight, man. I remember that fight. That fight was just epic. So
What are your thoughts on NFC as a promotion?
no, go out there. Go out there for a second. Daddy's almost done. Daddy's almost in a minute. Daddy gonna help you in a minute, okay? Say it one more time. What are my thoughts on the NFC and what else?
Yes. That's the question. Yeah.
Oh, I like the NFC, man. The NFC gave me my start. Come on, guys. The NFC gave me my start. They allowed me to. I started as an amateur. They gave me a bunch of pro fights there. So they're actually I'm fighting again. I probably fought majority of my career for the NFC. So I love them. They treat me well. I sell tickets, so I know they appreciate that. And they kind of give me the right matchups and trying to help me build my career. So shout out to Jesse Wable, the matchmaker. Shout out to Dave Oblas. They they treat me pretty well. And it's always good to sleep in your own bed night before the fight. Hotel life is all right, but sleeping in your own bed you can't beat that.
I agree with that aspect of the game. Sleeping in your own bed has its own set of
Yeah,
advantages, absolutely. At least you can rest properly.
yeah, for sure, and that's always an advantage. So,
What are your
fight.
thoughts on your last fight, which you won? Like Don Shainis, your last fight. What are your thoughts on that fight? I mean, are you pleased with how the fight went, or
So at first, like I don't know if you go back and watch the video. At first, as soon as the fight ended, I told my corner, my brother Robert Hill, I was like, I'm sorry, man, I dropped the ball on this one, and he was just like, no, this fight was amazing. You did great. And the fight, sometimes the fights go by so fast that you kind of forget moments and transitions in the fight. And I simply forgot that I dominated the last two rounds. I dominated the third round. I dominated the fourth round. Had his back the entire fourth round. Took it, dominated him in the fifth round. I just forgot about that. So then when I get feedback from everybody else, they're like, man, this is one of your highlight fights. Besides the Lawson McClure fight that I mentioned earlier, they were saying that those two fights were 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 breakout fights for me. Hold on, Weston. Daddy is trying to do something, man. Put it on right here. Look, right here. So those are breakout fights for me. So people are calling that one of my top 5 best performances. So I'm like, so that fight. Originally, I thought it was a not a good fight for me. I mean, not one of my best ones, but people are calling that my top 5. So that fight, that fight now, I feel good about it. I actually went back and watched it because I took the fight on 7 days notice. I was always in the gym training, so it wasn't like I needed a camp for real. But I mean, it's a little different when you got to fight in a couple of weeks versus fighting next week. So I reserved some energy in some of the rounds just because like the second and third round I kind of peeled back because I knew it was a 5-round fight, so I knew I could hold out and push hard in the later round. So that's what I did. I kind of coasted in the second, third round when I got in some bad positions, and I just waited it out to the fourth and fifth rounds. And I think it showed my resiliency, and it showed that I'm able to withstand some stuff and keep coming back hard. So that fight, I really that fight is one of my hallmark fights now.
according to you, which is the best submission victory of your career?
My bulldog choke. In the Valor Fighting Championships, I got a bulldog choke. Took Buddy down. First round too. Took him down and then fell into the bulldog choke. It looks like, I mean, I'm not even gonna hate. It looks like I knew what I was doing, but it was really like, oh, look what I got here. Like, well, look what I found type of ordeal. So, I mean, it all flowed together, so it looks masterful. But yeah, bulldog choke. There's not too many people that have bulldog chokes. Not too many bulldog choke submissions in MMA. But I do have one of them, so I feel pretty good about that. That's my hallmark submission right there.
Well, yeah, it's very hard to finish somebody via bulldog choke, especially if he knows to defend well.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I really like.
In general, how is one day in your life looking like? Can you please describe it?
Yeah, as you can see, I got my boys running around after me. So I got two boys, 4 and 2-year-old and 4-year-old, Sam and Weston. They're my heart, and I got my wife, Kendra. She's a school teacher. So, just trying to manage family time. If anybody knows me, they know family is a big thing for me. They know that I love my family, and anytime outside of the gym, I'm trying to spend with them. So, typical day, usually training during the day while the kids are in school. I go to the gym during the day when I'm not at the fire station. Pick the kids up from school so my wife can get some free time to herself after work. She comes home a couple hours, and then I go back to the gym at night. Do a couple hours at the gym at night, come back. Me and my wife kind of digress before we both fall asleep, and then wake up in the morning and do it again.
So pretty much busy schedule, right?
Yeah, super busy. Super busy. But I always try to get that family time in, man, because that's important to me. Making time for family.
Yeah, at least the day is interesting when you have kiddos in the house.
Yeah, never a dull day in the house with little children, man. Never a dull, especially two little boys. Never a dull day.
Yeah, that's true. Really much true. Do you have the favorite animal, maybe?
Huh?
Do you have the
Favorite
animal?
a lion. I'm a Leo. My birthday, July 26th. Leo, all Leos got that famous lion tattoo. So, they got my lion tattoo right there. I'm a Leo, so a lion. It's a lion with dreads. So yeah, lion, man. A heart of a lion. Leo, that's I'm the epitome of. If you look in the definition of Leo, my picture probably be there. So yeah, man, heart of a lion. Favorite animal. King of the
Can
jungle.
you please describe the meaning of your tattoos?
This is Leo. So lion with a tattoo, like I said, my birthday. I'm from Stone Mountain. This is my little tattoo from Stone Mountain. I got a dragon that goes all the way up. And then I got a Chinese dragon dog over here to turn to a samurai. Pretty decent piece. Turn into a samurai, Chinese samurai on the inside. I also have the Joker, Heath Ledger version. Joker, why so serious? And then scripture. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So just some motivational pieces, some things that sometimes when I get down and out, some things that I can just kind of look back at, and give me some reassurance to keep going, keep pushing hard.
So yeah, pretty much great meaning of tattoos. Really much. Do you have somebody locked in your sights? Do you maybe have somebody slated to fight?
Yeah, I'm fighting September 12th for the NFC. I'm fighting Chuka Willis. He's coming from Kansas, I want to say. Very tough opponent. Chuka's been in there with the who's who. He's been in there with King Dawadu. He's been in there with what's my man's name? He's been in there with Sadiq Yusuf. He's been there with a couple other UFC guys, the guys who are now in the UFC, and these guys have all beaten him. So, not calling him a stepping stone, but obviously you beat Chuka Willis. That speaks volumes to the big guys, and that possibly get you a call. So, Chuka Willis is a very very game opponent. He's 10-6, coming off a loss right now, but when they're coming off a loss, that means they're hungry. So I'm expecting the most dangerous, the most aggressive, the most hungry Chuka Willis that there could be, because I know how I am coming off a loss. So I know him coming off a loss, he's gonna be raring to go. So Chuka Willis, we're gonna scrap it out September 12th, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna get my hand raised and be looking for that call to the UFC after that.
So your future plans are towards UFC, Bellator, or
I mean, I want to get in the UFC. Of course, I always hashtag, put it on my story, my post, UFC bound. I mean, Bellator, PFL, all those things that won us one championship. Those places are cool, but when you think of fighting, you think of mixed martial arts, you think of the UFC. So that's where I feel like the best fighters in the world. And of course, there are high-level fighters in each of the other organizations too, and some of those guys in each of those organizations' top 5 can be interchanged in the top 10, top 15 in the UFC. But the UFC is the UFC. It's the pinnacle. It's the cream of the crop. And, that's why I aspire to be. So UFC all the way.
Would you like to greet somebody? Would you maybe like to give a shout out to somebody or say something we missed to say?
Yeah, shout out to my wife, Kendra Williams. Without her, man, I'd be a mess. I don't know where I'd be. Shout out to First Round Management, my management company. As you know, they manage big-time names like Jorge Masvidal. I mean, I feel like I'm in good hands if I'm being managed by the same people Jorge Masvidal is being managed by. The Coward brothers. Shout out to my personal contact through First Round, David Arvello. He brought me from Sucker Punch when he made the transition over, and he believed in me. So shout out to him. Shout out to my team, X3 Sports. Like I said, the best gym on the south side of the Mason-Dixon line in the United States, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to my brother, my main training partners, Robert Hill, Bimmy Sola, Derek Wilson, Steve Wiley, Shamel Finley, Darian Perry. It's so many of us, man. And the list goes on, man. Johnny Than Freeman. We got killers coming out of here, coming out of X3, man. So just remember that name. Remember that name, X3 Sports, because it's going to be a staple. It's going to be a household name very, very soon. Very, very soon. And shout out to American Top Team, Lima brothers. They let me cross train up there. Jucal, he's been a big helping me out. Will Brooks, Douglas, and Diego Lima. Shout out to them, man, because I'm able to cross train up there. Get it in. I cross train at a gym called Independent MMA, another gym that people may call a small gym, but they're coming up too. Independent MMA in McDonough. They also have a guy named Doug Usher, 12-3 right now, middleweight, on a 7-fight win streak. All 7 of his fights are by finish. And Doug can't get a fight. He's trying to get into the UFC, but Doug is 38. He's 38, so they're trying to call him old. But my boy Doug, he didn't start fighting MMA till he was 26, 27. So he doesn't have the miles on him that other guys have. Doug is fresh. Doug can fight till he's 45, 46. He's ready. Guys are steadily turning him down. He's 12-3. Look him up on Tapology. He's the number 1 middleweight in the United States, number 1 middleweight in the Southeast, number 1 middleweight in Georgia. He's just needing that opportunity from the big dogs. So shout out to my boy Doug, because he gives me a lot of insight, a lot of just helping me with my mental game. So shout out to all those people, man. So many people. It takes a village. Even as an MMA fighter, it takes a village. It's just an individual sport. But man, I wouldn't be able to do it without my village around me. So shout out to all those people.
Thank you so much for the interview, Nathan. I will publish it tomorrow. We'll send you a link tomorrow evening or afternoon. You can expect it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Nathan. Have a great day.
You as well.